Alright, so this process is only going to get more fun for me. The reason why is because throughout these videos, there will be little subtleties in my story that are released, and there will also be very big blasts of, oh my gosh, this is what he's been through. That is really, really something. Alright, so now I understand why he's talking the way he does. Very clearly. This is going to be about safety. Safety is something that we all need. Okay, we all want to feel safe. We don't want to feel like we're being terrorized. We don't want to feel like we're being deprived of natural resources that help us live our lives. I mean, we got to take care of these bodies, right? It's a container. It's our vessel. It's how we carry ourselves. I mean, everything comes in here we got to take care of, or doing things out here are not going to be so great. The energy that you control within this sphere of influence is going to be what you use to drive yourself to empower things in what you do. That includes people. Okay? If this whole thing's about teamwork and working together, then we have to understand what's working against us and what's not working with us. And some things can be on this side, some things can be on this side, and some things can be here. But ultimately, you need safety. You're not going to do very well without it. It's very funny because at the beginning of my entire journey, when it comes to my personal development, I had no idea that I was actually going to be doing this personal development thing in the first place. I was very sick. And when I was very sick, I tended to speak from a place where I was trying to motivate myself. And I didn't exactly know what I was doing, but somehow at the end of it all, I ended up finding self-awareness. So on my Instagram feed, my very first picture is on September 29th, 2017. And it's me wearing a suit, not necessarily smiling the greatest. It was very plain. There were better pictures, but that's the one I chose. The first video that I ever did was on October 3rd, 2017, right in front of my house.
I am Michael Earth Osada, and I'm actually in here right now, standing at the doorstep of where I grew up, where I came to be 19 years of age and move on to develop a greater mindset, a mindset of success, and being able to
And do things for myself. That's what it says. How do I know that? Well, I know my own voice. Look at how pale I am.
Hello, everyone.
Don't go
I am
outside.
Michael Earth Osada.
Oh my gosh. And then Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something that I happen to post. That's actually what I came here for. If you look at it, you're going to need the basic requirements, which is really going to be safety, so that you can be able to carry forward. Those are physiological needs and things that you're going to be putting into your body or doing to take care of your body. Right? So that's pretty important, but after that is safety and security needs, which means health. And we're talking about mental health here. Employment, property, family, stability, all those things are safety and security needs right above physiological needs. Physiological needs are air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. If you need to look at it again, pause it. Okay? These things are so essential to your psychological growth that if you don't end up having them for a period of time, you're going to be pathologized and your pathology is going to change. The way that you think is going to alter. Your state of being is going to change with it as well. For me, I didn't know that I didn't have safety. And it was really, really something because I was actually in college in 2017, and this was May of 2017. And on May 2nd, something really big happened. And it happened because I figured out that I was in a relationship with myself being an adult child of narcissistic abuse. And I figured this out because I was actually taking a speech class. It was Communications 101, and I was probably the best speaker in the entire room. And when I ended up researching, I believe it was my second or third topic, I ended up finding this article called ACONs, Adult Children of Narcissistic Abuse. And I found out that I was a victim, that I was being mistreated, and I was being literally taken advantage of, used. I was being degraded, and people would degenerate basically my own self-worth to feel better. What they were trying to do was they were poking me to be able to get into my bubble, and as you poke that bubble, it begins to shrink. And as it shrinks, so does your ability to think on your own. And then what happens is they take your mind and they manipulate and sabotage the heck out of it. So you lose your ability to operate on your own, and you essentially become a duplicate of the person who is gaining control. And I was mind blown. I mean, I was torn from myself, and I figured out through this discovery that my entire life was a lie, because I was being lied and deceived and tricked. All of these schemes that were manipulating me, it was so shocking to discover. Everything that my identity was completely false. And I figured that out during this speech class, and I just blew the class away with this topic that was so real, and I was so passionate in how I spoke about it. They were like, dude, you're so good at speaking. Like, that was incredible. Once I figured that out, it was the end. Safety was all I needed. I mean, I was literally bargaining to be able to get food with my family, and I would have to argue to try and get my way, and that literally gave them energy, because what a narcissist does is they try and make you feel like complete garbage to just feel a little bit better. They get this fix, and it's a tiny energetic exchange for them to get when they completely sabotage you. Okay. And, I had to get out of that. And I started doing research on it, and I found somebody named Richard Grannon. He's the Spartan Life Coach. He was really big on the YouTube channel, and now he's only doing YouTube stuff. And he made an awesome documentary. It's called Plugged In: The Toxicity of Social Media Revealed. The true toxicity of social media revealed. And he did it with Sam Vaknin. Sam Vaknin. And, that guy is absolutely incredible. Basically, Richard Grannon is my hero. And he, when I watched his videos, pulled me out of this complete downward spiral where I was losing control. And he showed me the light, I didn't know who I was at that point. So much so that during school, when I'd walk around, everything I was doing was trying to cover up this giant red beard around my mouth that was so disgusting. It was itchy, it was scaly, it was peeling. I was trying to heal myself by patching wounds and trying to change my diet to the Candida diet. And I was using lotions and steroidal creams and all sorts of crap to be able to fix my body. And it really, really changed my perspective when I realized there's something wrong with my mind. And then I just started going ham, okay? And I started beating everything down inside of me until I hammered it all out and then cleaned and healed my body. Safety was what I needed. And literally on May 2nd, okay, once I had discovered this speech thing, once I had gone and volunteered at a senior center and found all these people living with regret, I ended up speaking with the lady there who helped me out, and she literally conversed with me about my own self-fulfilling prophecy. And considering that we had this conversation where I basically said, I guess my self-fulfilling prophecy would be to be a motivational speaker. That changed everything for me, because now I had a purpose. And that purpose was, circumstantial, and it became who I actually am. I had to motivate myself by speaking things into existence and believing and seeing it before it happened. And that's really what you learn in manifestation, is having faith and emotionally and mentally rehearsing what you want to happen. The opposite of that, mentally and emotionally rehearsing what you don't want to happen, is worry. And that's what I was doing. So naturally, if you continue to do that and something spirals out of control, in which case your ability to control the outcome of the situation isn't there, that's what worry is. That's what depression is. When you worry consistently and you cannot control it, you get depressed. Okay? So I was not doing well. And I had been depressed multiple times. And, I don't believe I was depressed at that time. But being able to pull myself out of this was a super hard thing on my own. I didn't spend time with anybody. I was at home playing video games, playing an online game called RuneScape that basically was the largest massive multiplayer online RPG in like the early 2000s. And I was playing it ever since high school. After I became the candy man who sold candy, drinks, chips, soda, all these awesome things, I stopped making a ton of money as an entrepreneur of the school and started playing this game after my birthday at age 18. And then I played it until, I dropped out of college on May 2nd. I dropped my first class, which was English. And then I dropped my second class, which was actually everything else. I had 4 classes at the time, and I was taking 6 classes initially that semester, the second semester of my first college year, and I dropped everything on May 4th. So first class on the 2nd, the other 3 on the 4th, I was out. And I was literally in SPS, which is Special Privileged Services or something like that. Because I had a sickness labeling myself with ADHD, and it just doesn't serve you to label yourself with negative things. So that's basically an excuse to be able to have extra test time. And what really, 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 really bothered me is that my ability to think and sleep and focus got so bad to the point where I cheated on a test. And I cheated on a test using the special privileged services. I literally could not continue school at that point. It broke my integrity, Like to be able to face the teacher and have a grade above an 80%, which, like some things I intentionally wrongly answered, and some things, it just didn't fit anymore. Me dropping out was mandatory. I had to leave. It was against my character and everything I wanted, because now I wanted something. I wanted to be somebody, not a nobody. My mental state picked up from there because there was so much stress coming into school each and every day that I literally procrastinated. I literally procrastinated to the point that I would stay up the entire night until I had like 1 or 2 hours left in the morning, drinking coffee, and then I would write my essay. and it was bad. So naturally my grades plummeted. If you're procrastinating on something, it's probably because you don't want to do it, and then it's not good for you. So you stop doing it, okay? Do something else, or don't do it at all. Find something that motivates you and drives you from within. Pull yourself into it. Don't push. If you're in school and you're learning things and it's not fun, why are you there in the first place? Are you even pursuing anything? Or are you just trying to get a sheet of paper, a degree? Think about what you're doing here, okay? I had to change my situation. So 2 weeks later, toward the end of May, I quit my job. And this was at a Japanese restaurant. And I just had to change things. It's called Shinsengumi. It was a drive-through Japanese ramen restaurant. I think it was the first of its kind. I was there from the opening, and literally, we trained for like 4 months, wiping tables and playing games. It was so wasteful. So when it finally came to me being at the register, of course, I don't feel fulfilled because I help people and then they walk away from me and I don't get to feel the result in my service. Or I attended the buffet, or I washed dishes, or I greeted people at the front of the room. Greeting was probably the most fun. Buffet work was the most I did. Cashier was second. Okay? Dishwasher, I think I did that on my last day. So, when I come up to my boss and say, hey, I'm quitting, he's like, you're kidding, why? You know? I had to tell him at some point before I quit that mentally, my parents were basically abusive. And I was not in a good situation. This was recent that I learned this. So I had to change things. That is not something you say to your boss and still work your job. They will fire you, right? You're basically a disabled candidate for the operation. And I was one of the best leaders, at least I thought, there. Or at least I was really, 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 really serious about working, and fun was not my thing. I didn't connect with any of the people who were talking to each other. And what you have to realize is, as you evolve, you're going to find out that small-minded people talk about people. People with average minds talk about events, and people with great minds talk about ideas. All the people around me, they were talking about people. I don't know if my mind was great at the time, but I didn't really engage with anybody. I just worked extremely hard. Just like all my other jobs, where I ever worked anywhere for anybody, I worked extremely hard. And, I was either appreciated or hated. That's just how it worked. If you do anything, you do it your very best. Okay? That's how I lived when I came to work, getting paid for something. So, 2 weeks after quitting my job, which was 2 weeks after quitting the actual school, I ended up moving houses. So I changed environments from my mom's house to my father's house. And that completely altered everything. The switch from being unsafe to safe is something that completely changes all of the contaminants. You dump it out. So this 1 week after I changed my environment, changed my story, changed my state, because once you change your state of mind, you can then change your story, and then you can also change the strategies that your mind creates. I had safety. And a week after moving into this place that I am now, which things might be changing soon, we'll see how everything goes, I cleaned my system out. My body literally emptied, and it was as if I had a very terrible virus. I shit the most disgusting, horrendous things for an entire week. I literally visited a doctor because it was terrible. If you can imagine, don't even imagine. And when I regained some sense of stability or control, that's when things really started to change. So that will be the next topic, the next section. But basically, wherever you are right now, if your mind is contaminated in some way, you need to reach for the light. Because safety is your main priority. Now, the things that are actually included in here on this list are so many different things, but at the top of it all is self-actualization, which is misspelled. It's supposed to have a Z. The physiological needs are air, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep, at least on this triangle. So I was at least taken care of on all those things. Now, safety and security needs, health. My health was terrible. I don't want to show you my list, but I literally had a page and a half of symptoms in 2017. It was scary. You do not want to see those symptoms. And as a result of mental health challenges, you're going to get a whole list of symptoms. They just keep adding on. It's a downward spiral effect, and things become even more taxing. Not just taxing in the way that you have to lose your health, but also taxing in the way that you start paying extra bills, you start losing sleep, you start losing productivity and focus, you start losing dependability, you're no longer reliable. Your mind is basically a disease, and it is spreading. And then you're gonna try and contaminate other people's minds to relieve some of that stress and get some ease within your body and do things how you please, when really you are just being a thief of joy for everybody else. So it's not fun. It's not fun when you struggle with health, employment, property, your family, which was my case, and you lack stability. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that say they lack stability, and they're stuck somewhere, but they have everything, they're working for everything, they're going to school, whatever they're doing, their life's on track, but it's not on track in a healthy way. Literally, I'm going to go talk to everybody that I know, ask them, if you can honestly answer this question, maybe I can do something to help you. What do you actually want? I guarantee you, for the people who do answer, they're either gonna say some complete BS, or they're gonna say what they actually want. And if they say what they actually want, then I can actually help them. Safety, my friends, is what people are looking for before anything else. So, considering I do mental and emotional healing so that people can improve their health, and then everything after that, plus I know how to find self-awareness, I take you from the beginning of your entire journey all the way until the end, where you have your identity. Your identity. Do you understand? You know what it is you are here to do on this earth. That is my goal for you. And that's what gives you happiness, doesn't it? Literally, I fast forward your entire timeline so that you, and this is going to help you a lot, I just sent this message to somebody else. She said, I'll take it easy and then I'll say my answer, okay? I was offering to give her everything I know. Because that's how I do things, unconditionally. And then I replied, your decision is on you. The only risk you're taking is with your time. What I want to give you is a fast forward of your entire process so that you can live in the know, K-N-O-W, with the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to say, no, I don't want to do that, but yes, I want to do everything that I am. I know who I am, why I'm here, and what I am to do. That's self-awareness for you. I explained that previously. Okay, if you don't know that, who I am, go back. Accepting your shortcomings while also accentuating upon your strengths. Making your decisions based on the openings in between. That's self-awareness for you. That's something you want for yourself? That's what I give you. I know how to get it. So, safety is the beginning of it all. If you cannot have some sort of stability, whether it's emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically, you are going to be messed up, because these are all aspects of your health. 4 things that you need to be healthy so that you can be able to feel things that are beyond your 5 senses. I believe, from what I learned, there's 105 senses, and they're extra senses that are not normally perceived with this human reality that we feel. Okay? The 5 senses you're taught in school are what we are taught. There's some things that are taught, other things that are caught. You really need to catch that and feel it, but not only feel it, but internalize it. Okay? Then you will discover things that are so incredible and so great. So this video is a little bit long. I don't want to run on much longer. But basically, at the epitome of all of your personal growth and development, when you're trying to find your identity, who you are, why you're here, what you're here to do, literally, safety is necessary to have it all. I do not like to work with people if they are not in a safe position. I will literally send clients to court to get out of their abusive relationship. It's the best option. If I continue to work with them, then they're going to continue to have trouble in their relationships. And the best thing that you can do is try to gain control and set boundaries. Set boundaries with the people who are toxic. Okay? Set boundaries with your environmental circumstances. There are so many things when it comes to determining your environment, and the biggest thing to your environment is your own brain. Okay? You have to be able to control your own willpower. Environment can overpower willpower. Okay? It depends on how long you're able to hold out. And if you continuously get fed negativity, we're all human. You will lose. Okay? So, immerse yourself in positivity, and you will be good. I cannot stress it enough. Please, 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 be safe. Okay? This is what people tell you when they say goodbye. Drive safe, be okay, you know. That's what people really care about, because they want to see you again tomorrow, and we can die today or any moment. Safety, my friends. Safety. Safety. Please get it. And if you cannot get it on your own, then please start setting boundaries with your relationships. Start doing different things at work. Whatever you have to do to be able to get safe so that you can be able to control your mental space. It is mandatory. I can work with you and do all the personal work I need to do, but if you are receiving more negativity than you are positivity, you cannot gain control. This is your grounding. This is the root problem to most of your pains, your symptoms. Okay? The circumstances, that's one thing. Okay? How you control your brain, you are the way you are because of the way you think. You cannot get past that. unless if you start to develop a safe mental space. All of these are external forces. These are your internal forces. You control these. Okay, the external forces you can control by making the decisions that are going to be right for you with your internal forces. Okay, this is serious. Please, please be safe so you can be great. Take care of yourself. And don't forget the world, okay?